Hi guys, Richard here, welcome back to Geeks Wargaming and welcome to our latest video. And today it's part 2 of our Let's Sit and Have a Talk about Bolt Action. So Warlord Games have been drip feeding out some information about 3rd edition and it's time to jump in front of the mic again and let's go through what they've released and what I think about it. So first things first, they started talking about special rules. That was the first thing that came out after the last video. And there were 3 categories for special rules: units, weapons, and then game or table. Okay, so units. They didn't really go into a fat lot of information about units, but they kind of give us some information about engineers. And again, I think this just kind of makes sense to me personally. I think they've taken a very common sense approach with this, like Fieldcraft, for example. These guys are trained up to traverse difficult terrain. Therefore, they treat it as open ground. Okay, that makes sense. That's a little bit of a no-brainer, and I think that that works really well. Engineers, again, great at clearing out defences and fortifications. To represent how good they are, a unit of engineers assaulting a building, the defenders cannot benefit from the defensive position bonus. In addition, engineers have several advantages when it comes to the rules for minefields and other fortifications. However, you can't see them because they're on a rule book page that we don't have. Hey ho. But do you know what? I like the fact that it kind of makes sense. I like the fact that it is a common sense approach, like the treating difficult terrain as open ground. Okay, yeah, get it. They're brilliant at working their way across a battlefield. Fantastic. One that got me was the anti-tank guns. So anti-tank guns shooting at a vehicle will get a +1 modifier, and that covers light to heavy anti-tank guns and also includes any vehicle mounted anti-tank gun. Okay, let's break that down. An anti-tank vehicle gun shooting at a vehicle is going to get a +1 modifier. Again, it's common sense. This is what their job is. This is what that weapon was designed for. Let's make it slightly easier to shoot a vehicle, especially now with things like the new army selection thing where you might be able to field more tanks. Fantastic. Let's try and pop them as best as we can. I also like the fact that it includes the fire order, the ambush, and the reaction fire. So you always get that +1 modifier. Yeah, there are going to be a few things that will probably minus your modifier. However, I like that. It is, like I said before, it just makes sense. You've got a job to do. It's shoot a vehicle. Let's make it slightly easier. Then we go on to optional rules. Now, they didn't really go into a fat lot of detail about this. But the optional rules are your game, your tabletop. What can alter the battle? Now, I'm going to pull out a bit of wording that they used, which is a whacking great section. That's what she said. Now, anything that is described as a whacking great section says to me that it's huge, gigantic, and really in-depth. Let's hope so, because actually there's a lot of opportunities here. So the way they did it was like they covered things like night fighting on a beach landing with landmines. You want to fight in a jungle, or you want to go through blizzards in Stalingrad. We've got you covered. Okay, brilliant. So basically lots of different weather conditions, lots of different environment conditions that are going to affect and alter the way that your armies will fight on a battlefield. Fantastic. It's very real world. However, we haven't seen any examples or details of that, so it's very hard to say, yes, I like it. I like the idea. Do I like the execution? I don't know. I can't tell without anything to go by. So there we go. That's the whacking great section of optional rules, apparently. Right. Warlord Games did something a little sneaky. They released some snippets for 3rd edition in a new army release. So they released some Italian Alpine weapons teams. Woohoo! Well, to be fair, they released Italian Alpine and they look great. I picked one screenshot out and I think they look great. Great miniatures. Love the look of them. I think they look fun. However, hidden away inside of some of the descriptions was some new little snippets for 3rd edition. So let's go. Sniper team first. Okay, In the sniper team, in bolt action, snipers are accurate long-range weapons that deny their targets the benefit of cover and pick out enemy squad leaders and NCOs. Okay, that's quite big. Denying the benefits of cover. Now, cover we know is new for 3rd edition, and I think it's going to be quite a big mechanic that is going to play quite an important part in bolt action. Okay. Having weapons that deny that cover. Now that's interesting. Do you run your troops along the street, hiding behind a wall when there is a sniper present? Would you do that in real life? No, but yes, but it's a risk because there's a sniper there. You may not all make it. Or do you stick to inside the buildings where the sniper can't see you? Okay, brilliant. I really like that. I think that's a great rule. Mortars. Okay, here's another one. When they hit, they pack a punch, ignoring cover and causing a 2-inch high explosive blast. Nice. Again, something else that ignores cover. So there's been a lot of talk, I think I've seen it anyway, about how cover might be a detriment to the game. No, because you can counteract it. It makes sense. You know, you've got a squad hiding behind the wall, your sniper's there, your mortar team's there, locking onto the position. Okay, brilliant. Howitzers. Howitzers are powerful weapons capable of firing high explosive rounds either directly through their sights or indirectly, which, whilst scattering accurately whilst within range, renders any cover obsolete. So you've got 3 weapon choices there. Howitzers, mortars and snipers. All of them basically removing the cover from the squads that you are shooting at. That's quite big, I think, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that works and how that interacts. Now, next section was vehicles that was released. And again, I think this is probably the biggest thing that Warlord games have been through. And there's been quite a few changes, and they went through it in 3 sections. Vehicle damage, well, transports, and points. Okay, let's break this down then. So, first things first, soft skins, unarmoured. On a roll of a 6... that vehicle is destroyed. No damage table, they're just destroyed. And that is to represent things like small arms fire, rifle shots. You could disable a Jeep with a rifle shot. Yeah, you could. Of course you could. You could pepper the hell out of that with a squad, and one shot would get lucky, cut a fuel pipe, hit something important in the engine, and stop that from working. Yeah? So that is what that is to represent. Anything that is unarmoured can be peppered by a normal squad, and you just need 1/6 to destroy that. Now, that makes some big changes to things like your Jeeps and your trucks. That means you have to keep them safe, especially any unarmoured trucks. You have to keep them safe. You can't just whiz around the front lines. They wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it in the real situation of a war. They'd be out of the way, especially like your transport trucks. They wouldn't have been in the front line. No. They'd have been dropping the troops off and getting the hell out of there because they'd done their job. So I like this. I do like the fact that this now represents the fact that a normal squad could shoot the hell out of a Jeep 20, 30 times and get one lucky 6. You've popped it. Good. Now, armoured vehicles. Now, they can't be destroyed by small arms fire. To represent that, their damage value is a 7. Yeah, so you need an armour penetrating weapon to destroy a armoured vehicle. Again, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. However, this time what they've done, now I think this is quite big for 3rd edition, is they've split the damage tables into 2 types. So firstly, there is the superficial, or glancing, as we call it, hit. And I've got it up now. So this is the superficial damage chart. So you've got crew stunned, steering compromised, turret jammed, engine damaged, immobilised, or on fire. So basically, let's face it, the top 1 to 4, they're going to slow you down, make it difficult to turn, or you won't be able to shoot properly, or just shoot in the way you're looking. Immobilised, yeah, okay, you're just now a sitting bit of debris, but you might still be able to shoot. Good, I like that. On fire, so you can still destroy a vehicle in the superficial damage table by causing it to go on fire. Okay, yeah, makes sense. But for full damage, now on armoured vehicles, you get crew stunned, immobilised, on fire, which is only a 3, and then 4, 5 or 6, it is destroyed and becomes a wreck. And you +1 for open topped as well. So, 2 different types of damage table, glancing and full. I like the fact that they've split it out. I think that this will work quite nicely. There's no more, if it's a glancing hit, then -75 off your roll. No. It's just, you got a superficial, you're on that table. You got a full, you're on that table. Makes it easier. That should make it a lot easier for when you're playing a game. So, armoured transports. Let's take an armoured transport as an example. They'd be able to go up, drop their troops off, lay down some cover in fire, and then back out because they're armoured. You need a 7+. You would need an armour penetrating shot to get them. So they're more likely to do that. Your unarmoured vehicles, they're getting the hell out of Dodge because that is not what they're designed to do. They are literally designed to drop them off and get the hell out of there. Absolutely, totally makes sense. I like that. If you're unarmoured, you can still be destroyed by enemy. That's quite difficult. Enemy proximity. Yes, I haven't been drinking, honestly. So, I like that. This stays from second edition. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I think that if you're armoured, you are more likely to survive. But if you're unarmoured, there's a good chance that you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You are going to be destroyed. You're either going to get shot at a lot by troops, or you're going to get basically surrounded. Okay. What was the next bit they started to talk about? Well, actually, the next bit was points. Interesting one, this, I think. So, they gave us the example of the Tiger 2, right? So, in second edition, this tank cost 666 points for a veteran. It now costs 528 points. So it's come down in cost a lot. And if you take a regular, it's even cheaper at 440. I think what they've tried to do is they've tried to balance this out a little bit, because one of the things they said is that some of the bigger tanks didn't really see a lot of action on the tabletop because they were just too expensive. You were never going to take them. So they tried to swing that by, they're still expensive at 528 points, but they've brought them down in price to give you the option. They've also said that some of the vehicles have gone up in price. So where they were underpointed before, they've gone up, and where they were overpointed, they've come down. Okay, that's just a normal part of balancing. And as long as they've got the points right, I think it will work. We don't want them to have messed up on a couple of vehicles and then they just get spammed and you just can't get rid of them. That would be horrendous. Turretless will be cheaper. So if you've got an option of a turreted or an unturreted, then obviously the unturreted will be cheaper. Again, yeah, okay, kind of makes sense. But that's everything that Warlord Games have released at the time of me filming this. And I'm, again, really excited for third edition. I think that the changes that we saw in the first video, cover saves, how to pick an army, and then shooting, and now you've got some idea of vehicle points, vehicle rolls, the damage that you can do to vehicles, what can negate cover saves as well, which is a big thing. I really like this. And also you've got your special rules. Do I really want to see what some of these special rules are for your environment and your tabletop? Yes, of course I do. I'd love to be able to sit here and tell you about it, but I can't because Warlord have not said anything. But overall, this is shaping up to be quite a good set of rules that we've seen so far from the drip feed snippets. I'm still obviously nervous because I really enjoy second edition. I think it's a great game, so I'm hoping that they don't do a 10th edition and completely and utterly ruin the game. But I'm sure they won't, because everything that I've seen and everything that I've read so far is just common sense. there's a lot of history that these guys work from, and real world examples of what happened on a battlefield, and they've just tried to replicate that on a tabletop. And fair play to them. I think that what they've done so far and what we've seen so far is fantastic. So thanks for watching, guys. This has obviously been part 2. There will be a part 3 as long as Warlord Games keep drip feeding out those little 3rd edition snippets, and you don't mind me jumping in front of a microphone and listening to an old man rant. If you haven't, and I'm sure you probably have by now, but if you haven't pre-ordered, or generally, if you want to go and have a look at some bolt action stuff, there are some links in the description of this video that are our affiliate links, and they will help support the channel when you go and use that link. So, thanks for watching, guys. Please leave me a comment. What are your thoughts? Here's one for you. What are your fears? What are your fears for 3rd edition? What do you love in 2nd edition that you're worried they're going to change? Are you worried about cover? I'm okay about cover now because I've seen that things negate it. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. Tell me your fears. Tell me what you're looking forward to. But thanks for watching, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then why not click on that little subscribe button and that little bell icon so you never miss any of the content. And as always, we will see you on the next one.